This is VOA News. Reporting by remote, I'm David Byrd. The White House says President Joe Biden on Thursday will present a six-pronged strategy intended to fight the spread of the highly contagious coronavirus Delta variant and to increase U.S. COVID-19 vaccinations. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Wednesday that Biden would announce some new elements in America's fight against COVID-19.
We want to be specific about what we're trying to accomplish in this moment and what these 6 steps will do. We know that increasing vaccinations will stop the spread of the pandemic, will get the pandemic under control, will return people to normal life. That's what our objective is. So we want to be specific about what we're trying to achieve.
The United States, which leads the world in COVID-19 cases and deaths, is struggling to stem a wave of infections driven by the Delta variant, even as officials try to persuade Americans who have resisted vaccination to get the shots. The head of the World Health Organization is calling on rich countries with large supplies of coronavirus vaccines to refrain from offering booster shots through the end of the year, expanding a call that has largely fallen on deaf ears. WHO Chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said Wednesday rich countries with large supplies of vaccines have not followed through on their pledges to help poorer countries.
We don't want any more promises. We just want the vaccines.
Tedros said that he was appalled at comments by pharmaceutical manufacturers who said vaccine supplies are high enough to allow for booster shots and vaccinations in countries in dire need of them, but facing shortages. The United States and other nations have already begun some vaccine booster shots for vulnerable people. This is VOA News. Former Afghan President Ashraf Ghani said Wednesday he fled his country last month for the United Arab Emirates to avoid bloodshed in the streets of the capital, Kabul, as Taliban insurgents took control. He also denied plundering government funds as he left. Ghani said in a statement, "I left at the urging of palace security, who advised me that to remain risked setting off the same horrific street-to-street fighting the city had suffered during the civil war of the 1990s. Ghani denied taking tens of millions of dollars from the Afghan treasury, calling the charges completely false. The former president and his family fled to the UAE shortly before the fall of Kabul. A UN-sponsored high-level ministerial meeting on Afghanistan next week will seek to raise more than $600 million to provide life-saving humanitarian assistance for nearly 11 million people until the end of the year. Lisa Schlein reports from Geneva.
Spokesman for the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, Jens Laerke, says the appeal will provide treatment for more than 1 million children and women suffering from acute malnutrition. He says the appeal also aims to deliver critical food, essential health services, water and sanitation, emergency education, shelter, and other relief.
This year alone, 8 million people have received assistance. Basic services in Afghanistan are collapsing, and food and other life-saving aid is about to run out.
The UN assures international donors none of their money will end up in government hands. UN officials say all money is channeled to implementing agencies on the ground who will put it to good use. Lisa Schlein for VOA News, Geneva.
One of America's biggest monuments to the Confederacy has been taken down. AP's Sagar Magani reports.
In Richmond, Virginia, cheers and chants as a crew lowered the 21-foot bronze monument more than a century after it was raised, and a year after Governor Ralph Northam ordered it removed in a major win for civil rights advocates.
Remnant like this that glorifies the lost cause of the Civil War, it needs to come down, and this is, hopefully part of a new day, a new era.
4 other Confederate statues on Richmond's Monument Avenue came down last summer. Mayor LeVar Stoney says it's apropos that the only one left is a black tennis star, Arthur Ashe.
I'm pretty confident he'll withstand the test of time.
I'm Sagar Magani.
For more on these stories and the rest of the day's news, visit our website, Reporting by Remote. I'm David Byrd, VOA News.